Hello YouTubers, I am Parwiz, and in this video I'm going to show you that how you can integrate Firebase Admin SDK to Python programming language. Now before this I had some videos on working with Firebase in Python that was using of some libraries, some wrapper libraries for Firebase Admin SDK. So the problem with those libraries are that we cannot access to all features of Firebase using those libraries. For example, if you're using Firebase, you can just work with authentication, real-time database, and admin SDK. So now using admin SDK, if you see, there are a lot of features that you can do with admin SDK. So now this is the matrix showing what Firebase features are supported in each language. So you can see in Python programming language we have a custom token like ID token verification, and we have a real-time database, Firebase cloud messaging, and cloud storage, and cloud file store. So now like this you can do. So in this video I want to show you that how you can integrate Firebase admin SDK, and also we are going to work with the real-time database. So you need to install this Firebase admin first of all. If you come down, you can see that you can use these comments to install Firebase admin, and also if you see py.org, you can see that this is the latest version, and you can simply use pip install Firebase admin. So after installation of this, you need to open your Firebase console, and in here we are going to create a new project. Okay, now you need to click on add project, and you can name your project in here. So whatever you want, for example, I want to give Fire Pro like this, and after that click on continue, and after that click again on continue, and you need to select an account, so it is a default account, and create project. Now it will create a Firebase project for us, and now I'm waiting. It will take maybe less than a minute to create the project for us. Okay guys, so your new project is ready, and click on continue. So now we have our project in here at name of Fire Pro. Now the first thing you need, because we are going to work with the real-time database, so also you need to click on the database, and from here you need to enable the real-time database. So because we work on real-time database, now if you come down, you can see we have real-time database, and you need to click on create database. Now there are two options that you can check. So we have start in lock mode. If you use this, and you can see that all third-party reads and write will be denied, because in the rules we have read to false and also write to false. But if you use start in test mode, you can see the read and write are true, and anyone with your database reference will be able to read or write to your database. Because we are using this project in this video, I will remove this project, and for right now I'm going to just use start in test mode, and I'm going to click on enable. Okay, now you can see that this is our real-time database, and this is the DB reference. And if you see, we have a warning in here. It's telling that your security rules are defined as public, so anyone can still steal, modify, or delete data in your database. If you want to change these rules, you can change, and from here, but I don't want to change the rules. Now you can see the read and write are true, but you can just make this to false, and the rules will be changed, and you will not receive this warning. Okay, now after this we need to generate private key file for our service account. For this you need to click on your project setting of Firebase, and after this you need to click on service accounts, and you can see that in here we have Firebase admin SDK. After that, come down, and you can see we have for Node.js, Java, Python, Go. We're using Python, and after that click on generate new private key, and you can see if I click on this, and you can see your private key gives access to your project Firebase services. Keep it confidential and never store it in a public repository. So because we are just using for a video series. And now if you click on the generate key, so you will see that our key will be downloaded in here, and I will copy that in my PyCharm ID. So let me just click on generate key, and it downloaded the key for me. Okay, so now I need to copy this key in here. So let me just paste it in here, and you can change the name, so whatever you want. For example, I want to just change this to Firebase SDK, and after that you need to click on OK. Okay, now you can see I have copied my Firebase SDK .json. Now after this, now we need to import. So first we need to import Firebase admin, and now we are going to import from Firebase admin. We need to import credentials, and from Firebase admin we need to import db. Okay, now so now we need to create our credentials in here, so that we have created, that we have copied our we need to access to that credentials of JSON that we have copied in here, the file, the JSON file. Now you can use credentials.certificate, and you need to give the name. So it was Firebase SDK .json. Okay, and now after this we need to initialize our app. So Firebase admin .initialize app, and here you need to add your credentials that we have created at the top, and after this you need to add your database in here. So you need to give database URL, and let me just copy my database from here. Let me just go to general and database. Realtime database. I have created that, but okay, now I need to copy this, so let me just copy this and paste it in here. Okay, now let me just run this, and and I will check this. Okay, now after this we need to add the data to our real-time database. Now there are two ways that you can do. We can use set. So if you use set, there will not be any key for the volume, but if you use push, this is the another way that I will show you, there will be a key. So now first let me just create a db.reference in here, db.reference, and now I need to just set the data to my this reference. Okay, now let me just give employee, and in here I have two employees. So the first one is emp1, and this emp1, for this emp1 we need to give a name. Also we need to give an L name, and I'm going to give for example H. Also I'm going to give H. So this was our emp1. Now I'm going to create another emp, so let me just create it in here, emp2. So for the emp2 I want to add just these data, or let me just write, so name, for example for the name I'm going to just give it John, and for the L name I'm going to give it like this, and you need to give an age also in here. Okay, so now we have created this. Now if I run this, let me just run this, you will see these data into our Firebase real-time database. Now I'm waiting for this. Okay, now if I check my real-time database, you can see now I have an employee, and if I expand this, you can see I have EMP1 and EMP2. In the EMP1 I have these data, and also in EMP2 I have these data. Like this you can simply set or add the data in your Firebase real-time database. Now if you want to update, for example you want to update this data, also you can do so. Let me just show you for updating. So updating is also easy, like adding. Okay, updating data. Now for updating the data, first we need to create a DB reference. So db.reference, and in here you need to pass the part. So this time it is employee. Okay, after this now we need to update this. So for example, also you can create the child reference if you want. For example, EMP ref and ref.child. So for the child it is EMP1 child, and EMP ref dot update, and in here you can add, for example, I want to update the name. So for the name I want to change this to Python, for example. Okay, now if I run this, and I'm waiting for this. Okay, so if I check this now, the name converted to the Python, the child was EMP1. So if you want to work with for example multiple updates, multiple path updates, also you can do this. So now let me just show you that example. So this was just one value update. Okay, for multiple update, first let me just create my DB reference. So db.reference, and in here you need to add your part, so it is employee. And after this you can just simply write ref.update. I want to update EMP1, so this is the child, and I want to update the L name to, for example, updated L name 1, and I want to also update EMP2 L name. So and this is updated L name 2. Okay, just simple like this. Now if I run this, so you can see the child is EMP1, I want to update the L name, and also the child is EMP2 and I want to update the L name. So let me run this. Now if I check my database, you can see the L name is updated to updated L name 1, and if I check EMP1, the L name is also updated. So this was the first way that you can add a value. So the second way, for right now, if you see we don't have any key in here. So if you want to key for your value or for your data, you can use push for that. So now let me just show you that how you can use push. Okay, adding value using push. So for this, first I need to create a DB reference. This time I want to give this employee2, for example. Okay, and now you can let me just first create an EMP reference in here, because I want to print the key also. And you can just simply write ref.push, and you need to pass the data in here. So I want name, I want L name, and you can add, for example, if you want let me just also add an email in here. So sorry, email, and let me add also age. $24. Okay, so now after adding this, now let me just run this. Okay, now also you can print the key. So now let me show you the data. Now I have another one. This says emp2, and you can see we have the key. So this is our age, our email, our L name, and also this is our name. If you want to print the key, so you can just simply write print empref.key, and it will print the key for you. Okay, now if you want to retrieve the data from the real-time database, how you can do that? So now let me show you just the example of retrieving the data. And let me just comment this. Okay, now for retrieving the data, for example, first I want to create a DB reference, so .db reference, and in here you need to add. So I want to, for example, retrieve the employee data. And now you can print ref.get. Now let me just run this, and you will see that we have the data in here. Okay, now you can see that we have emp1, then this is the data, and we have emp2, and this is the data. So also you can do for employee2. So let me just change this to employee2, and let me just run this. Now you can see that this is for employee2, and also we have the key in here, and the age, the email. This is the new value that we have added. So like this you can work with real-time database, and you can integrate Firebase Admin SDK in Python programming language. So you can check the documentation of there are a lot that you can do with Firebase. Also I will add source code to the video description. If you have any question, please let me know, and for the further videos please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and also share the video.